Well, I pulled the trigger actually on the 31st of December. I actually, during Christmas Eve, bought myself through Amazon a Rebecco tablet, Android version, with Android OS on it, version 14, with a carrying case to go with it, for about 100, I think it's worth 182, well, with taxes and all that, came to about $182. It's going to be arriving today regarding the package itself. So actually I'm waiting for that to come in and get it opened up to do the unboxing here with you guys. And the one thing while I was out early this morning, I had to get out some other things. While I was out, I went over to Best Buy and I picked up a micro SD card. Now, what I did do is, as I was looking through the specifications for the SD card, well, not for the SD card itself, but through the specifications of what it can handle as for SD cards, or the micro SD cards in this case. This is a micro SD card from Lexar, which has been good. I have no complaints about them. They said that they mentioned that for that particular tablet, I can go up to 1 terabyte in size. So, what you call it, Best Buy was actually having a sale on these things. This one actually went for $79, including taxes, came up to about close to $95. This one is a 512 gigabyte class 10, class 1, class 10. I forget exactly the classification. There's class 10 is the best, so class 1 is the best. Anyhow, it'll do the job. That's what I have to say. Besides the 128 gigabytes that's already on there, I usually buy these whenever I get well, not specifically the size, but over the years when I had my Acer tablets, way back in the day, we're talking about 2004, 2005. I had an Acer tablet back then, and I had something like an 8 or a 32 gig micro SD card on it, and it ran great. What I liked about that is that you weren't limited to the amount of storage on the tablet itself. And way back then, at that time, 32 gigabytes was considered fairly large for that and for what you needed for. And I decided to go with actually another 32 or 64 gig at that time. I don't remember the exact size I bought. But even then, it was still kind of hard to go around with that. But with today's thing there, what I have in my cell phone, which is a Galaxy A03, I can put up to a 512 gig SD card on this one without any problems, but I left it with a 256, so the amount of pictures I have on there is not as much as I would like that I really need it for. But the only thing is that it records onto the internal memory, and then you have to dump it over by going through the filing section of the OS itself. So it takes a little while to get used to and thinking how the structure is set on it. But I'm hoping that with the version 14 on Rebecco, that I'll be able to do it quickly as well. The tablet that's going to be arriving today also comes with a mouse and keyboard on top of it, with its own little cover that they included with the tablet itself. So I did buy the other option of a fully enclosed. I'll say this: it's going to be like a little briefcase for it. So when I can go out to the shopping center and all that, it'll be nicely covered and all that. So it won't look as if it is a tablet per se. because those things, people will start stealing them like crazy. So this is why I'm going to be using that when I go out. You know, like if I have a little list, at least I can put it in there nicely and then go out with it. But I decided to get this here as well, just to protect my rear end, that I make sure I have enough space both internally and an external amount. Because with this there, I can actually copy things I want onto it and plop it in. One other thing I wanted to mention too, as for these things, it's better to get a little app called SD card formatter. There is one available. I'm going to include the link in the description down below where to pick this up. It's good for Windows, and they also have a version for Mac. So you can, if you have a Macintosh and you want to use this, there's an application that you can actually run and format the drives. I've been using that for the longest time, and it works wonders. You don't have to worry about going into your, like in my case, I'm using like the Windows environment, like Windows 11 as an example. I don't have to right-click, format, and find out, oh shoot, I put the wrong partition on there. Guess what? There's only one thing that the SD card formatter will do is format it natively to what Android is using. Yes, I'm smacking this almost virtually down to the bottom of on my table here, but I usually do that. I highly suggest that even for newbies to get that application. Once again, I'll provide it down below, and that way you can actually go and download that if and when you are getting a similar Android tablet like I'm getting. Okay, whether it's with keyboard and mouse or without. Okay, so I just want you to be aware that most people don't know about it because they haven't learned about it. I've learned about it because I've done the research, and it's always helpful. Okay, no harm done. And if you're like me, who has a little multi-function SD card reader, like I do here, so I can put either a full one or a micro one or MMC, whatever it is. But at least I can use this to format this. At least get this inserted into this, put this into my computer's USB port, run the SD card reader or programmer to format it. That will get me out of trouble. Okay. I'm going to stop right here. We're going to wait until my faithful package of my tablet from Rebecco has arrived. Once we do that, I'm going to do a unboxing of it here, and I'll probably lay it out on the small table here just to show you what it looks like. Once I get it out, we'll come back again through the magic of filming and do what we usually do, which is basically go back and record after the batteries have charged up on those things, because it takes a while for those things to get fully charged. So I'll be back. Well, it's a day later. Actually, I got the Rebecca tablet from Amazon last night. It was around 8:45. It finally arrived after I had my dinner, of course. Yeah. Paying the Badutskis they are. They say they had sent an email earlier in the day saying that it had already shipped, meaning it's on its way to my place from the courier. And it ended up that somewhere along the line, the courier had maybe a mechanical problem with one of the trucks that the pad that I bought actually was on. So they had to get another truck to empty the one out and put that one in and finish his route. So I got it late last night. So I finally opened it. I cracked it open, got the charger out, which came with it, and a few other things that actually came with it as well. It came with this nice little compact keyboard, as you can see here. It's a very small one. It's a rechargeable battery inside, similar to like a lithium ion, but it's polymer battery in there. So that uses a USB-C to USB-A connection to charge the battery up. It also came with a nice little slim mouse, a very compact one, I might add. It has two. It has a left and right, and the middle one, the scrolling wheel, does work. This one here requires two AAA batteries. That's not included with it, which should have been, but it wasn't. So I had to get some extra AAA batteries from this. So I actually gone to Home Depot and picked up about, on special, 48 batteries for $17.98 alkaline. So at least I have more than enough batteries for this little son of a gun. And last but not least, the case itself that came with it as well. It actually came with a nice folding case with, as you can see here, for the backside camera, the dual one, and of course the actual tablet. It actually came with a film that I've actually put onto it, but I'm slowly, like I'm using a rubber, what you call it, a rubber spatula, like what they use in construction. These guys, you can pick up like at any renovation center, and I've been just smoothing out, pushing the bubbles to the outskirts of the actual, edge of the panel, so that way it gets it out, so it won't be as noticeable. For starting it up, well, after I got everything hooked up and got it charged, so that way it's on a full battery. That's the first thing I ever do without even thinking of anything else. Put it up, let it charge on its own. Make sure it's at 100%. Once it's on 100%, then start everything. The process for getting set up took me a little while because I haven't done it in a long time, and I had other ones like this, like the old Acer 8-inch, which wasn't too bad to setting it up, but mind you, Android has come a long way. So that one that I had on that Acer one, I think it was running Cotton Candy, I believe, as for the OS on it from Android. And this one is using the latest one with version 14. So I'm still trying to get used to the new version that's on here in comparison with what I had way back then, which is a dead horse. It's using an it's an 8-core processor. It's going to say Octacon, it's not that. It's an 8-core processor. It actually physically has 4 gigs of RAM, but what they're doing to say that it actually has 12 is they use the small bit of the partition that's on the NAND flash memory on here. That's actually the internal memory on the tablet itself. They're using about 8 gigabytes for that. So that way it reacts a little faster as for swapping and all that. So it tends to move things a little bit faster instead of swapping in and out. They use the NAND flash memory that they have for the internal storage, as well for the swap file for the virtual RAM on here, besides the 4 gigs. So you have 4 gigs regular RAM that's in here, the DDR3, and then you have another 8 gigs, which is from the NAND flash memory. Don't ask me how they set it up. It's like that on almost any Linux system at one point, where you can also create a partition for swapping files, especially if you're doing a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? If you're doing a lot of not data entry, a lot of databases or a lot of reports. So when you're going through reports on a database that has to be printed out, well, guess what? As you're getting things compiled and all that formatted out, it sometimes the memory that's in there is not enough, so they swap it out over to the local hard drive. And in this case, they're using the local NAND flash memory that's non-volatile for swapping out the memory. Okay, they can read back and forth without any hitch. So that's what they're doing with this. And I did also format the 512 gigabyte SD card, the micro SD card that I put on in here, and it took it right away and it created folders already for pictures and whatever else, any audio, any music, any whatever podcast that I want to put on there. So that was a good thing about this. Running it is not so bad. I'll say this: it's quick and nimble, and what's the word I'm looking for? Let me turn the sound down here. Otherwise, we will get all these ding, 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 dings, and we don't want the ding, 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 dings to happen. Wrong one. Jesus H. Christ. Okay. I'm still trying to get you to install the controls on this. My God. I got sausage fingers. What can I say? If you can't joke about yourself, what can you joke about, right? Earlier today, actually when I was actually having my lunch, I've actually installed two applets here. One is called Office Mobile and the other one is called Tasks. Because I tend to do a lot of writing too, and what I like doing, especially now with the keyboard and mouse that I have with it, just if I'm in the mood for creative writing, or feel like I want to do some, whatever the case may be, with to do spreadsheets or presentations, I have actually something access to do that with this machine, and it's one of those ones that I fear if I don't have it, because I deal with a lot of writing, especially note taking, and I'd rather have it on here and work with it than not have it at all. There we go. Let that one go. So I would rather have it in there than not at all. And so far, so good. I haven't transferred yet. I'm going to transfer today. Actually, some movies to it. Just for the fact, for me, I find anyhow, not many other people are like that. And I may do that in an addendum to this. I may just come up and just show what it looks like, like just see how fun, how good it is. I have a feeling because so far so good, it's been working well, and I have no problems with that. For me to put Facebook on here, I have the thing already open. I just forgot my password and I'll have to log into it here, but I'm not going to be using it mainly for Facebook and all that. I mean, I do that on my regular desktop, my regular machine here, the one I'm recording this episode on, and on my cell. So I'm not really missing something out on this, not having it on here. Once I can get resolved what my password is to log into it, then I'll probably add it into here. But for right now, it's just taking up space. And of course, put a couple of games on here as well, just for just to have fun with. So that would be the other thing too. So overall, I mean, the quality seems to be nice. It's of course made out. The case is actually made out of what feels like plastic overall. Just for the fact the way it feels. I've worked, way back in the day when I was in high school. I actually worked with. I've actually learned being not a tool and die maker, but a machinist. So I've worked with materials like aluminum, copper, um, bronze, cold roll steel, wrought iron, stuff of that nature. Learn how to use a milling machine, both horizontal and vertical, um, along with lathes to do turnings on, how to make threads and all that when I was younger. So I still have that in my back of my head, somewhere over here. Just hard for me to explain it out there. To say you just know instinctively because you've done it before. By the feel and by the weight of it. And for being about a pound for the actual item and with the case, it's not so bad. The other case that I bought because I thought it didn't come with a case, but it actually did. I can still use that one as an alternative for it, but I'm going to see. I don't think I'm going to return it. I'd just rather keep it as a spare, just for emergency cases, or just use it as a protective case to go with it, type of thing. But it's going to be mainly around the house when I'm like upstairs or doing something like trying to create a recipe or something like that. So I'm mainly going to be using that upstairs or somewhere more or less where I can speak with friends and family and all that regarding it. But overall, for 136 bucks Canadian for a tablet, like this that runs Android 14 and with a 10.1 viewing inch screen, it's not so bad. It is quick. I'll say that for sure. It doesn't seem like it bogs down from what I can tell. Video wise, I haven't tried anything video wise on it, but it should work smooth because it's going to be the most popular file formats for video. So for video on that, so on and so forth. So it'll be for something like that. It'll work fine. That's basically about it. I have only good things about say it. Besides besides it being that size, there's nothing bad about it. I mean, I know I could probably, if I look longer enough for longer periods of time, I probably would find it. But so far, just for having it just under 24 hours, it works great. So I have no quarrels about it. If you like this, please subscribe to my channel, give the thumbs up, or the thumbs down if you thought I suck. So I'm hoping that you'll at least give me the thumbs up to say, you did okay this time. And even leave a comment, please, if you're interested in more of these type of things, okay? I'll catch you next time.